Hey guys, MCAJ4 here, bringing you another World of Tanks gameplay. I decided to do just a commentary after I get to go. I don't want a bad gameplay. I'd rather do not live, but get a good gameplay for you guys. So I'm gonna speed it up a little. Oh, that's the wrong button. That just skipped a little bit. Don't worry. I just, but like, I'm like batchat 155 already. Stuff, blah blah. I'm just looking around, waiting for some spots. As you can see, I put it on ×2, so like you don't miss a lot, but you don't want to just be like sitting here, and it takes forever to upload. But like, I have a whole bunch of good games, so I plan on like posting them soon. But like, it's really hard to get good games, and it's really just hard for me because I'm like, no. I see this object 212. How would I slow it down? I'm like, that's the weirdest angle, but I'm like, no, I'm not gonna take it. But like, then I take it right there, cause like, I get it. That was I ran into that, but that was a lucky shot. I personally want to say that, cause half of my reticle was already gone. That means 50% chance I was gonna hit this thinking 50% chance I was gonna hit the wall. And I'm in TS, you'll see TS stuff popping up. I'm in the quiet room. I have clan and stuff. So I'm like trying to take some good shots on like IS-7s and stuff. I lost the spot of him, so I have to go look at like something else. But this bridge messes your aim up so much. Literally, I'll start speeding it up because there's nothing interesting right now. I'm gonna go reposition because as you can see, they're like pushing right there. We only have like a couple tanks to defend. So like, I'm like, yeah, I'm running to that. And I'm like, I'm out of here. That's not a good idea because like up here, we have like somewhat of a main force up here against the other main up here. So like, yeah, but if you're playing as Artie, don't be afraid to like move. Don't be afraid to move. Like, don't be afraid to move, cause like that's how half the time like, and like, oh, I have a perfect shot on something. Take it, then move. Like, if you're still like trying to zoom in and you know you're gonna be probably killed, you rather stay alive than see. As you could see right there, the M40, M43 died because he didn't move. I saw it right here. I'm like, the E100 just goes kamikaze mode on the Moss, and the Moss gets tracked. So I'm like, what am I gonna do right now? I can't. I have no shot on him. I'm like, I'm gonna go help him, cause that Moss, and I'm just like, we're losing. I'm like, oh, this is just gonna be a fail game. So I'm like, I'm just gonna derp around. I'm just gonna go full TD mode. I'm just gonna be like, yeah, I'm cool. I'm gonna go ninja on this E100. I have 3 shells left. Remember that. Slow it down. I'm like aiming, get a good shot on him. That I damaged my Moss a little bit, which stinks. So it sort of like makes my money go down a little bit. So like, I'm gonna take a shot on this IS-7. Then I realize he's coming after me. I don't know how this happens. I do not know how this happens. Please explain in the comment section how I do this. I bounce an IS-7. Watch. I just bounced an IS-7. I literally am confused right now. I'm literally confused. Like, how did I do that? Right now, I'm like freaking out. I'm like, run away. I'm like amazed that I think I bounced an IS-7. So like, I'm gonna go reposition, try to get some good shots. Right now, we're pretty much in a stalemate. Like, we don't know who's gonna win yet. I run into that thing again. I always do. I'm like, I'm just gonna go TD mode. It's boring being stinking. I see that they have a full boring like TD. It's just fun going TD mode. But like, I see they have 2 tier 10s, 3 tier 10s, and an Artie. So I'm like trying to get these 2 things because my clip's now reloaded. I have to be careful now, cause I literally the mouse saved me right there. Cause if he crossed the corner, I would have to like, I'm one-shottable for every tier 10, except the T110 E5, I think, unless he gets like an ammo rack. Right now, it's a Moss and a batchat Artie versus an IS-4 and a GW Tiger. I almost died there. If I died right there, I think it would have been GG. But I'm trying to hide behind the boss, cause I'm like, oh, this Moss got this guy. I'm like, he just pinned him. Like, he got this. He even bounced. That's what I think. I'm going for the Artie, cause he's gonna be pounded by them. I'm gonna keep an eye on him. He just got pinned. Nah. They're having a gunfight right then. I'm just watching there, cause now I'm gonna slow it down, and I just failed. But I wonder how this Moss didn't kill this. See, he's still taking damage, and he's not pinning the IS-4. You should be shooting towards their stinking hatch, the driver's hatch. I'm looking around. I'm gonna go flank this IS. Then I see there already. I'm like, yeah. I noticed that the Moss is losing right there. I'm like, oh, this is not good. I'm not gonna be able to fight an IS-4. I'm thinking, I'm glad that the Moss takes cover. He takes cover. I'm like, now I play some random peekaboo. I'm like, I'm like, no, yeah. I'm like, drive. I'm screaming at my screen, drive. And then I'm like, yes, shoot him. And he's mad at me, cause he says, I think I remember what he says. I don't remember. So I go into arty mode, trying to kill him, cause this Moss needs my help now, and I need to take a quick shot on him. I'm just ready to shoot it. I'm random shot it. Yeah. And this was pretty good. I say it's a pretty good game in my batchat 155. 4 kills. And yeah. That's my batchat 155 gameplay. I think it's pretty good. 4 kills. This is from the last last update, so I can't do anything else. So see you guys next video, I guess. Subscribe, like, favorite. See you guys.